Welcome back. The program is still Your Weekend. And still on World Sickle Cell Day, I have an amazing guest with me. And you know how curious I get when I meet people. I have so many questions. I'm going to have to calm down because this is about awareness and there's so many things to learn from him. I have Shehu Olaitan Mohammed. He is a chartered accountant and an author and also a sickle cell warrior. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. So
Thank you very much.
I already gave you fair warning that I have so many questions.
You
so
did.
I hope we get to it.
No problem.
But I'm going to quote you directly from
Please
your book.
do. Yeah.
You know, in your book it says that, and I quote, it said, living with sickle cell anemia is a struggle that puts one's faith to test. It's a financial, physical, and psychological burden, and also a physiological trauma.
Yes.
Can you shed more light on this?
Well, in making that statement in my book, by the way, the title of the book, I Am a Survivor, the story of my triumph over sickle cell pains. That's the title of the book. I look at what I went through as a sickle cell warrior, what my parents went through, and my family and friends. And I came to that conclusion. First, when I mentioned faith, it put your faith to test. Sometimes, because of the pains you are going through at that time, you want to ask yourself, why me? Why did God allow this to happen to me? Yes, he says a loving God and so many attributes of his mercy. Now I say, why is this thing happening to me? Of course, if you are not careful, you can deviate from your faith. But sometimes you just have to keep the faith alive. And yes, it's a physical torture, not even just pains. Because the pains that we go through as sickle cell warrior, honestly, only we can explain it. Any other person around you can only feel you psychologically, yes, but emotional. But the main pain is only you that know what you are going through. If I have female friends that are sickle cell warriors, so they will tell you that the pains of labor is not anything near what we go through when we are in crisis. So for you to know how bad it is. Well, I'm not a female, and I've never been pregnant before. I never give, but I know when they talk about labor pains, I know how difficult it could be. But someone now telling you, a female also telling you that the pains of that one is so minute compared to what you have during care. So you can just use that to imagine what you go through. You just feel that the pains, it comes to any part of your body. There's no place that you cannot feel the pain. Now, imagine yourself having a child in that situation. How will you feel? I'm sorry, at some point, even me, when I'm writing that book, and I visualize the pains of my mother, seeing us as children in that condition, there have been times two of us will be down at the same time. You can't see their feelings, the pains they are going through. So that's why I said that's emotional trauma that they feel.
In fact, I'm trying not to get emotional because I've been through labor, so I know where you now say it's worse than that. I mean, because they say that's the greatest pain so far in the world. I mean, that's not something that you wish on even your enemies.
Yes.
But I would like to move on from there, but we don't both get too emotional.
Exactly.
You also have brothers, who are warriors.
Yes.
How does that make you feel? And then what do you think your parents could have done differently?
Well, in fairness to my parents, I'll say that it was not their fault. At that period, there's no awareness about genotype or anything. So could they have done anything differently? I don't think so. Because they gave us the best of treatment. We don't have any reason for not going to hospitals. The hospitals are there for us to go when we need to go. We have medical attention, all of us that are SS. My mother had four of us. Yes, 3 of us grew up to adulthood. So I won't say there's anything they could have done differently. They did perfectly well from the way they gave us all the attention. Okay. In fact, I remember my father, out of his concern for me, have to take me down to the south, to Ibadan precisely, to live with his brother. And his brother too, and his wife were so marvelous in taking care of me. I also have been lucky, the family that I have, the friends that I keep, these are all things that have been working in my own case to see me through up to now.
Okay. Now, because we know that it's not just about talking about the disease, it's also letting people know, create awareness.
Yes.
But what would you say, because we're outside looking in now.
Yes.
What would you say are the implications of living as a sickle cell warrior, especially in Nigeria?
Well, the implications are enormous. As a person living with it, then for the family, for the person living with it, you have a burden that you have to carry all through your life, which is not in any way due to your own fault, and in fairness, not even due to your parents' fault. That is it. Nature has its own way of doing things. It just happened to be you. And sometimes there are some things you just have to accept.
Yes.
So the burden for us going to school, I belong to so many foundations, Sickle Cell Foundation. We have some even parents that can't send children to school because they are already incapacitated, the children. They are just keeping them at home. They could not afford the bill. So this is one of the burden that some of us go through. Yes. Then, of course, the parents having this guilt that, oh, these children came to life because of my own mistake. You can see within this system, everybody have his own burden is carrying.
Yes.
Really. Yes.
Yes, and now for June 19th, which is, like an awareness, as I said earlier
Yes.
on, of, World Sickle Cell Day.
Yep.
Do you think that so far there has been enough done to create awareness in terms of, this disease? Because it's not something new.
Yes.
And it's not like it's not rampant either.
Yes.
But do you think they're doing enough to ensure that people know about it and ensure that there's something they can do about it?
I don't think that we are doing enough yet. But I would say the awareness is better than what it used to be. Because I remember that even during my own university days, I have so many mates that they don't even know what sickle cell is all about. Some people, it was when they met me that they know. But things are changing now, I believe, and the awareness is getting better. Let's take this your show for an instance. 5 years back the line, I doubt if you are doing something like this or you have any special program for that day. The station is not taking that up. Many other people are doing so. I believe it is better than what it used to be, but we can still do more.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, I know that people are already doing a lot, but
Yes.
I mentioned something even before we started the program
Yes.
about life expectancy.
Yes.
And I remember, because I have a friend
Yes.
who is a warrior,
Yeah.
and we go way back. I remember discussing with her, I think we were in university, and I was like, how come we check information abroad and then you see, oh, there's one elderly person at 70 and the person is a warrior, and in Nigeria at that time, I think they were telling us, oh, the person must be 20 something. If you're 30 something, they think, oh, this person, God has been gracious. So do you think there's something they're doing different over there that we should inculcate? Because it's a long discussion. She also mentioned food, different things, and I was like, honestly, I had no idea.
Yes. Well, I will say that it may not be necessarily so. The oldest sickle cell warrior that we know in history, she's a Nigerian.
Wow.
Yes, madam. She lived in Lagos, 90-something when she died. About a year or two back, she was 90-something. So we have that type of situation too here, but it's not rampant. Then we have this mindset, which of course sometimes, because of the incidents of death, you want to believe that it is so, that people die early. But my own, personally, this is personal now, the way I see that is not necessarily, may not be necessarily the same way everybody sees it. I believe that life and death, everybody have his own start and end time. In my book, I made mention of a friend who is also a sickle cell warrior. Sometimes we discuss about our life and life expectancy, death, and things like that. But this person, when he died, was when the brother told me, what my mind just went, oh, another warrior is gone. But when we are not talking later, it said that the guy died of motor accidents.
Wow. So
you can now imagine that this is a person that is having this fear that is SS, and that because of that, death could come. But yes, the death still come, but not through SS. So death has its own way of doing things. And I say it's why some of people are surviving better now. I think it's because of that awareness that we talked about earlier, and the access to health better than what it used to be, and the availability of more information, how you take care of yourself, what you should do, what you should not do. The West, Europe, they may be having better, they have better health system generally. And of course, that may be something that is working for them, for the warriors over there to live longer. And here, we all know what our health system looks like. So all this one, like I said, with more awareness and our health givers showing more empathy towards sickle cell warriors, it will help us a lot. Yes, sometimes, because maybe that's another thing we need to talk about. I know warriors that will say that they don't even want to go to the hospital because the way they are treated. I've gone through that type of treatment too before, but in my own case, maybe because of my background, I don't allow anybody to take me for granted. If anything happens, if anybody treats me shabbily, I make sure that I report the person to the highest authority of the hospital. And in fairness, they always take action. But in most cases, someone that is just say battling, all I want is to live. All I want is to survive.
They will just, at the end of the day, take anything. But
exactly.
I'm so glad that awareness is being created, and I just hope and pray that more is done.
Yes.
I wish we had more time. I would have, spoken about stigmatization and all. But you can tell that I have so many questions in my mind that I can. Well, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
I really appreciate the time.
I appreciate you too.